Hey y'all, before we get rolling, if you run a nonprofit, this is for you. Comfy Stone just released a free 90-day donor retention checklist to help you keep more donors through authentic storytelling. Get your copy at comfystone.com/checklist or click the link in our show notes. Now let's dive into this week's episode. Missions by You. Hey y'all, welcome back for another episode of Missions by You. Today we have Brett Davis, the founding director of Grounds Krewe, a nonprofit dedicated to waste prevention, recycling, and sustainable products for NOLA events, and widely known for their sustainable Mardi Gras throws. Welcome to Missions by You, Brett.
Great to be here. Thanks, y'all.
So I want to start with, what issues did you see that you created Grounds Krewe to address?
Yeah. Well, I think it may be the biggest waste producing event in the entire world, certainly in this country and certainly in this state. And I grew up in New Orleans, so I've been going to Mardi Gras, the event that I'm talking about, all my life, and really watched it transform from something that used to be very low impact on the streets and storm drains and the environment to something that is a totally different beast now. And got all the stats and figures about, the waste that it produces, up to 2.6 million pounds of littered street trash. There was a pivotal moment in 2018 when they found 93,000 pounds of beads in just 5 blocks of the storm drain system along St. Charles Avenue. Yeah, so it was the culmination of watching it change, having moments like, the beads in the storm drains, hearing a lot about, plastic pollution and marine environments. So all of those things kind of culminated, and it became an issue for me and others to work on.
That's a lot of facts. Like, I hadn't thought about it. And when you said about like it being the biggest, like you said, waste producing event, yeah. I'm like, there isn't anything else like it.
We have a lot of big events in this country, of course, and around the world. But when you take the duration of carnival season, 12 days long, 10 of those days we have parades, and 4 of those days we have parades that start in the morning and go until the morning, like 12 a.m. sometimes. When you take that duration and all of the size of it, I would say for sure it's got to be one of the biggest waste producing events anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Being from New Orleans, it's hard to think of it as an event. It just seems like a part of life. But when I contrast it to things like Jazz Fest, who have a dedicated sustainability crew now, where a lot of my friends are on these crews that sort trash specifically. And I had never thought of it. I guess, I don't know. It's not ticketed. It's not like, it's just a part of life.
Yeah.
You stop thinking about it as like, oh yeah, people need to be on this. People need to be thinking about this as like a for lack of a more charming term, like a waste producing event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's become one of the defining characteristics of it. I mean, you can't ignore it. When you go out there, there are so many great things about Mardi Gras: the music, the food, the culture, the house parties, the visual aspects of it. But you just can't ignore it anymore. If you see it, it's just, a river of waste that we create, about 3 miles that happens, each of these days. And the thing that's really changed over time is the fact that, there's always been tailgate waste. People are always bringing drinks and food and stuff out there. We're always taught just to leave it on the ground because there are no, trash receptacles that they put out there for the parades. And the city does an amazing job of sweeping the streets after. But the thing that has changed over time is the amount of parade throws that are on the ground, the unwanted parade throws. That is what has changed most dramatically since when I was going to parades as a kid to now. And you mentioned it before, but the reason why there's so much waste, and I say this every time I talk about this issue, is because it's an unticketed event and it's an unsponsored event. And when you have no ticket sales, no sponsor paying for your festival, your event to happen, You have to generate revenue, and it's the parade organizations, the crews, that have to generate revenue to put on a big free and unsponsored show. And they have two means of doing that. One is charging membership dues to be in their parade, which I think only gets them, in some cases, to about 40 to 50% of the revenue they need. And the other half, which has become something they've really relied on over the last 20 years, is throw sales. So importing really high quantities of low quality, cheap, disposable plastic parade throws, putting their crew brand on it, putting it into packages, and selling it with the help of a throw distribution company, from the people organizing the parade to the people riding in the parade. They sell it for a big markup, and that's what allows them to have renovated floats, marching bands, dins, insurance, all the things that are required to fund a parade. So that's why you see so much more waste on the ground, is because they've kept hitting that button. Hey, we need more money. They're very competitive with each other. We need to have a better parade. We don't want to raise the membership dues double, triple every year. I know, let's get people to, buy, throw more stuff, and we'll make some money in the process to pay for the parade.
Yeah. Also, culturally, you're told there's an overture of, like, once it hits the ground, it's not, you don't pick it up. It's not valuable anymore. And that value, did I touch a nerve?
Yeah, that wasn't like that when I was a kid. There was scarcity. So when something hit the ground when I was a kid, people scrambled over and got it.
Yeah.
But when you have too much stuff,
Yeah.
people lose the interest. And I think that's become maybe an excuse in some ways. Like, oh, we don't, handle ground beads. And they might be muddy or sandy, or, the truth is people don't want them because there's just too much stuff out there already. They've already caught a full bag of items earlier. It's like last year, they still have a closet full of that stuff, or an attic full of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's just an oversupply.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So what are the different ways that Grounds Krewe works to minimize waste from Mardi Gras?
Yeah, so we have waste prevention and waste reduction. We all know about the R's of, reduce, reuse, recycle. I think there's even some other R's now. But step one is trying to prevent the waste that is out there. So that means coming up with throws that we hope people want to keep. And they will want to keep them if they're functional in some way. So we have an initiative called the Sustainable Throw Catalog, where we design, source, assemble, and sell functional, eco-friendly parade throws, things that you can catch and eat, consumable items like jambalaya, red mix, coffee, grits, or other household items that you might use like soaps, hand scrubs. We've got items like bamboo toothbrushes or hand sanitizer. So the idea there is that we are finding local products made in Louisiana or made in America, and figuring out a way to make them affordable and a safe throwing size and weight, and something that, again, people can just keep catching year to year or day to day, because they'll go through it. They'll use it for some purpose. So that's our Sustainable Throw Catalog initiative, which has gone amazingly well since it started in 2020. And we've sold about 780,000 throws directly to crews, where we put their brand on it, or through an online catalog where people in any parade can buy items. And, it's a real challenge to make those items affordable. So that's why we're a nonprofit, because we need sponsors, grants, and philanthropy to help subsidize the cost of making those throws. And then we also need lots of volunteers to help do very simple assembly steps, putting those together. And that allows us to sell the throws virtually at like no markup, with some markup. But the idea is it's impact driven through the amount of other disposable imported throws that we're displacing. So that is waste prevention. And then waste reduction is our other big initiative that we actually coordinate with a lot of local partners and sponsors. It's a parade recycling initiative called Recycle Dat. And we go out onto the parade route and set up stations and put out bins to capture aluminum cans, PET bottles, glass, and donated parade throws, which we then get back to organizations like ArcGNO and St. Michael's so that they can resort and sell those throws to be used a following year and help support their organization. So it's two sides, preventing the waste from showing up in the first place, and then when it is there, trying to divert it from the landfill. Yeah.
Right. And you guys have done mixing spoons and like serving utensils. Is that right?
Nope, that's not us.
No, not you.
You're probably thinking of other parades. So maybe I can take credit for that in the fact that we have seen a lot of parade crews recently say, okay, we are throwing a bunch of stuff that really, is not so useful. Footballs, frisbees, hula hoops, beads. They have gone back to where they traditionally source throws, East Asia, and said, what can you provide for us that is more functional in some way? So a lot of them are coming up with like cooking utensils or crawfish trays or fanny packs or lip gloss or something like that. Still all imported from companies overseas. But there has been a push recently for more functional throws, but still sourced from the cheapest place possible.
Of course.
And with the, least favorable working standards. So what we do with Grounds Krewe is come up with things that cannot be replicated overseas. They are literally sourced from companies in Louisiana or America, and they require local assembly steps. So take a bag of jambalaya, put it in a little burlap sack, tie it up, take a box and, put these items for a basil starter kit inside of it. So that's what we do. But yeah, we have seen some crews that have started to move towards more functional parade throws.
Yeah. I have brushed my teeth with your toothbrushes. So.
Toothbrushes,
yeah.
Yes.
When you mentioned a toothbrush, I was like, yeah, you can never catch too many toothbrushes, right? Like even if at every parade you caught then you just have your toothbrushes for the year.
Exactly. And there are like red bean mixes and stuff. You're like, Monday's coming.
What? Open the pantry. Oh, got dinner ready.
Exactly. Exactly.
Totally. That's the idea. The more you catch, the bigger the pot, the bigger the party.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, guys, did you know it can cost up to 7 times more to find a new donor than to keep one you already have? That's why at Comfy Stone, we created a free 90-day donor retention checklist. It's simple, step-by-step guide that shows you exactly what to do after someone donates. From how to thank them to how to tell stories that keep them engaged and giving all year long. You can grab your free copy at comfystone.com/checklist or click the link in our show notes. All right, let's get back to the show. You mentioned throwing size and weight. What's your process for trying to design these throws, these sustainable throws?
Yeah, so a week after Mardi Gras ends, me and the staff, it's a small organization. We're just up to 3 full-time staff at this point. We sit around and come up with ideas that we think are, okay, what would be something that promotes Louisiana culture in terms of a food item, or something that can be Mardi Gras themed. So, can we make it purple, green, and gold is basically the challenge.
Right.
We're all we came up with a cocoa mix throw this year, and cocoa mix, not a very Louisiana thing, but if you take Louisiana sugar and Belgian cocoa and you work with a local coffee company, in this case, Coffee Science on North Broad, we've got a cocoa mix throw. And that's hey, that's kid-centric. That's a good idea. But how are we going to make this fit that bill? Oh, I know. We have to do purple, green, and gold dehydrated marshmallows in there to give it the Mardi Gras theme.
It's super precious. I looked it up on the website. It's so cute.
Yeah. And so we found a company that does dehydrated candies locally, a great husband and wife business, and we told them what we wanted, and they figured it out for us, and then we have everything packed at a facility over in Harvey, and there we go. That's how we invent a throw. But there's a lot of design that goes into the packaging, figuring out, the cost analysis. What we do requires a lot of like customization and lots of materials. And so coming up with the price for it when you have to sell it in April and then you have to figure out how to make it, over the summer, that's a
lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a jewelry business, and like figuring out like, okay, this is how much materials cost. And like that takes me forever. So I couldn't imagine being on a timeline and the amount of ingredients or pieces that you have to figure out to like pricing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have storage units, 5 of them now, just filled full of materials with, different Krewe brands on it, different pieces. And yeah, it can be complex. And I never, knew that much about retail sales, but now I'm kind of getting into that world and figuring out how it works and, inventory management software.
Yeah.
And first in, first out, all these things,
Yeah.
Logistics. I'm like, I didn't know that was a word I'd ever need to dabble in.
Yeah, right. It's also that kind of, the profitability of that kind of thing takes time. And when you're having to invent new catchy things to throw every year, it's tough. It's tough to make that. It just reiterates the necessity that this is a nonprofit and you get grants and things like that.
Totally. Yeah. And sometimes we mess up and undersell things. Like we sell them in April for a price. We realize, oh, this is actually going to cost more to make this item. And that is one of the benefits of being a nonprofit, is that we can kind of rely on other means, to an extent, to keep us afloat. And the community response has been amazing. We have, corporate sponsors, which is another tricky aspect of our nonprofit in Mardi Gras. I mentioned that there's no sponsors in Mardi Gras because it's literally prohibited by the city ordinances to have anything in those 12 days of carnival season in Orleans Parish that conveys a commercial brand logo or message or religious or political message. And so everything we do in the Sustainable Throw catalog, from sponsorship to the brands that we work with, all of that cannot be displayed on the throw. So we have to use little QR codes that we put on each one that says Sustainable Parade Throw, scan to learn more. We can't even put our own nonprofit logo on the throws.
Wow.
And so when you opt in and scan that, then you get to a non-buying page that tells you the story about the throw, the local company we worked with. It shows all the volunteers who helped make it. And then at the very bottom of that page, it talks about the organizations who support our work.
That is really a blessing to have that non-corporate sponsorship clause on the grander scale, I would say. I mean, can you imagine?
Sponsored parades.
This entire day sponsored by X corporation. And I bet that they would be like salivating because
they would be.
There's millions of people descend upon the city.
Yes.
And
but I'm convinced they come because it isn't a big rolling advertisement.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, I just think about how it would change the landscape of like what the floats all look like. Again, we talk about the tons of pounds of waste, like all of that just being branded now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah. Well, there are parades around Halloween and other parts of the year that do have, corporate floats. And of course, you can go to parades in New York or California, like the Macy's Day Parade or something. You can see kind of what it's like. But yeah, it would totally, utterly, in my opinion, ruin Mardi Gras to have it become an advertisement for everything under the sun. People, I think that's one of the things that brings people from around the world to enjoy it, is that it's dark and mysterious and vibrant and joyous, and it's not, buy this now. We get enough of that.
Right. So what are your goals for the future of Grounds Krewe?
Oh, so glad you asked. We have, I think, we have a lot, but the two major ones I think for us short term are figuring out how to get a space that is appropriate for what we're doing. Right now, we are driving to storage units to get materials, bringing it back to a tiny office on Magazine Street, cramming only up to 20 people in that office to assemble throws. If it's more than 20, we have to go to a brewery, or we go to a school or a corporate building or a hotel. We do a lot of manual moving around of materials and manual lifting. We would really love to have a space that is where all our materials are, so a storage space connected to a big, beautiful volunteer venue where we can host it's almost up to 3,000 volunteers that we work with between August and January, and make it something that's a year-round. Come in with your social group, your crew, or just a public drop-in day and help us assemble throws. And it's a very fun social environment. What we do is like indoors, seated around a table. It is not crafting, it's just assembly. So it's like very easy work. But having a space for that to function would allow us to scale and, be able to make a lot more and meet all the demand from the crews. So that would be a big priority. And then we are working on a biodegradable, compostable Mardi Gras bead made with a Louisiana waste product. And we're kind of in the phase of figuring out how much that might cost to make, and to do it not in we can make 500 of these. We're looking at scaled manufacturing, basically figuring out the way that they do it currently overseas, and figuring out how to bring that process here, but with really high quality, safe, and environmentally friendly materials.
Wow. What kind of waste? Just curious.
Well, it's a very ubiquitous one they're burning in fields all around Louisiana right now. Can you guess what that is?
Sugarcane?
Sugarcane, yes, yeah. So if you've ever gotten a to-go container from like a really fancy restaurant that felt like paper, good chance that was made with sugarcane bagasse, the fibrous stuff left over after they squeeze the juice out of it. And you can make, printer paper with it. It is basically just, cellulosic fiber. And you can convert it into things, but most of that is usually done, I don't want to get too technical here, by like form molding it. We're trying to figure out a way to injection mold it. So the way that all plastic products are made.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah. So that'll be a great one if it comes to pass. Again, we're working on the economics of it to see if it's feasible. But we know it's going to cost more, and we think that'll be a good thing, honestly, to have beads that cost more, because then you'll have less of them in a parade.
Yeah.
And people will want them again. You got to bring the scarcity back.
Hopefully less like humming of a like whole pack of beads at people is there.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is against the rules, but people still do it.
I wasn't aware there were rules, so let me Google those.
Chapter 34 of the Muni Code. There's a whole section about carnival and, what you can do, what you can throw, the rules and regs. And it's a fascinating read, but you got to be
fascinating
kind of
read.
a nerd.
What is a throw that you are trying to make, if you don't mind sharing, that sustainable and, as you mentioned, like throw safe?
Let's see, like a concept we might be working on for next year. Yeah, let's see. Well, we had one of our volunteers who year after year is like, I think y'all should come up with a way to do those little hydration sticks, because people drink so much during Mardi Gras.
Oh, wow. You're keeping the people alive, actually.
Yeah.
Throw some hydration sticks at me.
Yes.
And so we're like, okay, well, there's probably not a company in Louisiana that makes those. We'll see if there are companies in America that make those, because that's where it's got to, come from. And then, that leaves us with we got to fill one half of the equation. Okay, well, it looks like we got to get a purple flavor, a green flavor, and a yellow flavor one. And then, of course, like customize the packaging, which we can do when we order 10,000 of them. We can get customized bags, pre-printed bags. So that's an example of a throw we're working on. Trying to figure out, how to cost it out and what the lead times for manufacturing would be. But I think that would be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Give that volunteer a gold star. That one's a
Right.
good one.
Yeah. Can't you just see it? Like you have the next morning after a parade, your glass is full of ice and you put some in there, and then there's a purple one, a green, and a gold one. And you're
Yes.
like, okay.
I can see the commercial now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Grounds Krewe, saving lives one morning after at a
Yeah.
time.
Well, yeah. I mean, you really don't even have to drink that heavily to need those things now. I mean, they're pretty useful.
I was gonna say, once you turn a certain age in 30, it's just
Yes.
like, yeah.
This
like
is
I've just
water.
started
Right.
starting my day with those now.
Totally. Yeah.
All right. Well, we like to ask a fun question every episode. So yours is, what is your favorite signature Mardi Gras throw?
Ooh, well, let's see. I mean, from someone else or from Grounds Krewe? I guess we don't have a signature throw. So, man, that's a tough one. Yeah. We were talking about this before the recording started, but I am working at every parade practically. And if I'm not actually on the clock, I'm there observing them and like taking lots of photos of the ground to look at the waste profile and stuff like that.
Your camera roll must be crazy.
Yeah. But I'll just go ahead. One of our biggest and longest crew customers, our longest crew customer, they ordered 100,000 throws from us this year, is the Krewe Virus. And so their signature throw is little bedazzled sunglasses. I think I've seen some like bamboo ones that they've thrown that have, like glass from Glass Half Full decorated on them instead of plastic ones with like glitter. So I'll shout that one out, or maybe the Zulu coconut, because we know that's totally biodegradable.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out the OG sustainability like custom throw.
Yeah.
The coconut.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. And yeah, I mean, food throws, we of course didn't invent that concept. St. Patrick's Day, when I was a kid.
Oh man.
Yeah, like
You get a whole soup just from being there for 30 minutes.
Totally.
It's incredible.
totally.
Just like checking off your grocery list. Like,
Truly.
okay, I need another potato. So I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
Hurling cabbage is a risk. Those things are heavy.
Yes.
My cousins were knocked over the head for those, but like, that was,
Oh, totally.
yeah.
We have people who sometimes look at our little bag of red beans and they're like, ooh, this, what happens if someone gets hit with this? And I'm like, this is like a third of the weight of a coconut or a big unwrapped bag of beads.
Yeah.
So, we keep everything 4 ounces or less. But yeah, there are some out there that are super dangerous.
Yeah. Maya, what's yours?
I gotta go with the Muse's shoe.
Yeah. We love a musician.
Yeah. I have a solid collection I've collected throughout the years. I've had a lot of friends ride. It's fun. Mm-hmm. What yours?
That's an iconic one.
It's an iconic one. Yeah. My favorite are the the kind of ammo that you get at Chewbacca's, because I dress up as Queen Amidala every year. And I do the whole beat. Like I've got the headdress, I've got everything. So once you make like a bandolier, each crew inside
And you get the
Chewbacca's,
little, like,
you get the
yeah.
like chewy ammo, and they put them on little Jenga blocks. And they're really sweet because no one throws them at you. They place it in your hand. They like will make eyes and be like, "This is for you." And then it's like a little coffin from like the vampire crew or whatever. So I've got a lot of them, and they're really special to me. And I like bring them out every year on my bandolier.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the parades like Chewbacca's, all of those sort of alternative neighborhood parades, as we call them, they have exploded in popularity because they're low throw events. They're sort of high on the DIY and the, let's meet throughout the year and craft something together. And then the little throws that they do, they're really not throws. They're more like handouts. And I think those parades, I personally think they've become so popular because they are a total, other side of the coin to the big avenue, heavy on the throw, waste producing events. People would much rather go and see, their friends marching in something, get handed a couple of small things and then just enjoy the show instead of being bombarded by imported disposable plastic products.
Yeah,
right.
Because you get such a better experience of being able to get something handed to you by somebody who like spent time making this little block or whatever little. I don't want to call it a throw, but yeah, that experience.
Sure, it's a little token. Yeah, we would love to see more of that version of parading sort of infiltrate the big avenue parades.
Totally.
Because I think that, people would realize like, oh yeah, I don't need to see, 60 floats in 4 hours, with hundreds of people on it. I can take a little break and watch a couple of things and stare at some interesting contraptions.
Mm-hmm. That someone made,
exactly.
with their friends. Like, it is very, very special.
Yeah, for sure.
So what can people do to support Grounds Krewe between now and Mardi Gras or thereafter?
Yeah, well, we always say the most important, easiest thing you can do is just recognize that we have something that we want to change about Mardi Gras. We always say we want to envision a Mardi Gras that the whole community can be proud of. And so acknowledging that we have a waste problem and talking about it is step one. Volunteering with us. So going to our website, looking at the Get Involved section. You can come assemble parade throws with us, and we can organize, events with your group, or you can just come on a public drop-in day where we have allotted times at the Grounds Krewe office or a brewery, and you can come help assemble things. That'll actually tapers down the closer we get to Mardi Gras because we've started fulfilling all of our stuff. But anytime from August through the middle of January is our heavy season for that need. Of course, donating. We are a 501c3 and we take individual donations, donor advised funds. If you work at a company that wants to sponsor a station along a parade route, that is an opportunity to put branding out on the parade route because we're not in the parade. We set up these stations across the neutral ground adjacent to the parade. So we can have, corporate local business sponsors help support that work. So those are the most, the easiest ways to plug in to supporting Grounds Krewe.
Awesome.
Cool. How can people find all that information?
Yeah, so our URL, Grounds Krewe, and that's GroundsKrewe.org. Go to the website there or just look for us on Instagram. I guess it's /Grounds Krewe. Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, Brett.
Brett, this is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome podcast.
Yeah.
Great. Nice and warm in here today, too. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Missions Bayou, powered by Comfy Stone. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow the podcast wherever you listen. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment, letting us know your thoughts and who you'd like to hear from next. We'll see y'all next time.